Have you ever felt exhausted trying to explain yourself to the world? Explaining your choices, your actions, your failures, even your silences. What if I told you that this constant need to justify is quietly sowing seeds of regret in your life? So, where do you think the regret begins? Regrets don't appear overnight, they're built over time, brick by brick. They come from missed due dates and unmet expectations, from procrastinating when we should have actually acted, from fearing failure and losing out on opportunities, from feeling we are not good enough and not trying at all, or even worse, from trying but holding back, knowing deep down that we didn't give it our best. And every time we fall into these patterns, we feel the need to explain. So, have you ever said this? I didn't have time. I wasn't ready. It wasn't my fault. But explanations don't erase regret, they feed it. Yes, my friend, you heard it right. The explanations you give doesn't ease you of the regret you're living. They instead make it worse. They keep on feeding until you lose yourself. Explaining is not something very great. It's more like a misery. You see some people, they keep on explaining. For everything they have a reason. How miserable do we make ourselves by constantly explaining to others? We try to justify every failure, every missed opportunity, every fear, and in doing so, we lose ourselves. Do we really understand all of this? What's worse is that we end up explaining even to the people who trust us the most. Those who believe in us don't need explanations actually. They need our honesty, our effort, and our courage. But instead, we burden them with our justifications. In fact, we burden ourselves as well into the lack of being our authentic selves. We weigh down our relationship with unnecessary words when all they really need is our actions. If you take example of people who constantly give explanations, what does their family members want from them is just they want the person explaining to do something, to take an action, to just stand up for their own self and start doing something. Value their life. It's not that they expect something out of you. No, they expect you to be you. Do we even realize that these explanations are nothing but a trap? A life full of explanations is more like a cage. It keeps us bound to the opinions of others, making us prisoners of what they think. So we wanted to do something, but we don't do, with the thought that what happens, what does people think? I wanted to ride a bicycle at the age of 25 plus. Now my thought is like, oh, if at all I fall down, what does people around me think? Will I make it? Or is it okay for me in this age to ride a bicycle? Okay, let's do it. Let me do it tomorrow. Procrastinating, pushing the thought away. Instead of acting, I'm always focused on what others think or what is in the future to be happening. But the truth that no one tells us is the more we explain, the less we live. If I keep on explaining to myself, oh no, if I fall down, people around me will laugh. I'm not, instead of taking an action and experiencing, and okay, if at all I fall down, I have to get up or take someone's help and then learn it. Instead of doing that, I'm explaining to my own self, saying that it's good to be here, sitting here, instead of taking the action. So it's more like I'm killing my life and explaining. I'm just happy and comfortable in explanations that take me nowhere. True. The more we justify, the further we drift from our true self. Do you believe in that? So, what we have to be doing? What if we shift the focus from explaining to experiencing? From justifying to acting? From living for others to living authentically? Why should I be bothered about others, what they think? Why should I even be bothered about them? If I take an action and I do things, there's something like I'll learn from it. I'll learn a new skill. I'll experience some joy in riding a bicycle, or I will do something different from whatever I would have missed if I have not done it. So don't you think that we have to shift the focus from the explaining self to the experiencing self, so we can just reduce the regrets we have in life? Now, all of a sudden, do I have to hate the regrets? Do I have to see the regrets which I have as a alien or a kind of demon? No. Take the regret as a teacher. It's okay to feel regretful. It's all human. We are humans, right? We learn or we evolve by experiencing all sort of things. So it's okay. It's not that we always have to do the right things. We also learn from those things which doesn't take us anywhere. At least it explains us how not to be. So it's absolutely okay if at all you feel regretful. It's all human. It's all natural. Now, instead of using it as a reason to explain again, use it as a reason to act. Missed a deadline? Start afresh. If you have procrastinated again, take one small step today. Do something. There might be many things in our list which we wanted to do, but we keep on postponing with some reason or the other. Now let's break it today. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to do only one thing. At least if you imagine, there are like tasks which kept on building, and they became a mountain, like a structure, at least in your mind. Now you don't have to shackle whole mountain. It's okay, absolutely okay, if you take one little pebble from that mountain and put your action to it and complete it, or at least start it. If you see now, after taking a little pebble out, your mountain is one pebble less. So there is a difference. Don't think that, okay, what difference it's gonna make. No. Start doing pebble by pebble, it'll come down. Like how we have built regrets. Brick by brick, we have built the regrets in our life by not taking actions and just simply explaining, and keep on explaining. We have built a rock, built a mountain. Now it's our duty to act upon them. Just shift the focus upon action rather than explanations, and remove the pebbles out. If you want to play with them, You want to make art out of them? Just do it. Just put yourself into action. You never know what good it's going to bring to you. And you'll be much more happier person than anyone else, because how beautiful it'll be for you to feel a freedom of living. From the heart you feel free when you doesn't have the burden of these explanations and regrets. You have that freedom to breathe and to live peacefully in the world the way you were meant to live. So even if you don't give your best, you just keep on trying. If you missed a deadline, just start afresh. You procrastinate, just take one small step today. If you're afraid of failing, don't really care. Just show up anyway. Just do it. Maybe at the end, you're going to learn, or at least your fear is going to disappear. The failure or the failure mindset which you'll be having, that'll be gone, because you're not a failure. If you have attempted it, you are not a failure. Even if you don't give your best, try again and again and again, and this time leave no room for doubt. Now today, let's make a choice, a very conscious choice. It's not anything big, okay? Don't think, oh my god, I have to make a choice. No, it's a simple one. Just like the way we breathe, let's make a choice. How simple it is. We don't even realize that we are being living on our breath. That breath we don't have to put any effort to. The mechanism which we have keeps on breathing, taking the breath and releasing it, and it makes an entire body function in the right way. Are we putting any efforts to breathe? Are we consciously breathing? No. The same way, as easy as our breath, let's make a choice. Don't ever think that this is a huge thing. Choice, a simple choice. Let's stop apologizing for who we are. Let's stop explaining our dreams to those who can't see them. Let's stop burdening those who already trust us. Instead, let's live in such a way that our actions speak louder than our words. So loud, so loud, so loud that explanations become unnecessary. Totally unnecessary, to even to others and even to our own self. Maybe this choice will make us free to address ourselves in the mirrors. Maybe we're not afraid to look at our own self, because we carry no regrets. We are far away from explanations. All we do is take actions and make things work. Again, a life full of explanations will only lead us to regrets, but a life full of bold, unapologetic action, don't you think that's a life worth living? So, stop explaining, start living. Because you, me, or anyone, all of us, we owe no one an explanation, but you owe yourself a life without regrets. So stop explaining and start living. Happy living.